So I've chosen to do my PowerPoint assignment on breast cancer. The causes of breast cancer are so wide and varying that physicians can't seem to agree on definitive causes. So there's not really one specific cause of breast cancer. What we do know about breast cancer is that it occurs when breast tissue begins to grow abnormally, meaning that the cells are dividing at a much more rapid pace than any of the healthy cells, which is causing an accumulation of cells to make a lump or a mass, which is what women generally first notice, and that is what generally causes them to go to the doctor. So the cancer cell reproduction, in the first step you have a healthy cell. Step number 2 in the illustration, there's a damaged DNA in the cell. Step 3, the cell then becomes mutated. Step 4, the cell begins the unchecked reproduction, which is just dividing and dividing over and over again. And then in step 5, we see that the cells have then grown in number, which again ends up leading them to the buildup of a lump or a mass. The population attributable risks are varying. There's a lot of different information as it pertains to breast cancer. What we do know is that there are some common misconceptions. People generally thought that caffeine, different deodorants, the use of microwaves, cell phones, and then even having contact with someone who had cancer or has it, that they could catch it. None of these actually increase the risk of getting diagnosed with breast cancer. So some population attributable risks. There are menstrual and reproductive risks. There was a study in Morocco that established that women who had early menarche, early periods, were at a much higher risk of a breast cancer diagnosis than women who had started their periods later in life. Diet is a big risk. There was an American study published that found that being overweight accounted for 10.2% increase of breast cancer diagnosis in postmenopausal women. In every case, if there's high alcohol intake, it increases the woman's risk of breast cancer by around 11%, which is a pretty significant increase. And women who do not have enough vitamin E are at an 8% higher risk than women who have sufficient amounts of vitamin E already in their body. Exercise is a big one. Postmenopausal women who do not get adequate exercise are at a 23% higher risk of breast cancer diagnosis than a woman who does get enough exercise in each week. Again, that's a really high percentage jump that we're seeing with exercise. Other risks. Women are at an increased risk of breast cancer diagnosis, 8%, if they did not give birth to any children before the age of 30. So on the same hand, if a woman has never been pregnant or had a child, she is at greater risk of developing breast cancer than those who have given birth. The risk to these women raises by about 2%, so not too staggeringly much, but enough to be concerned about. There are several public health programs that are related to breast cancer. In the United States, there's a program called the National Breast Cancer Foundation, Inc., and what they do is give free mammograms and free diagnostic services to women who otherwise might not be able to get that. The reason they do that is because early detection for breast cancer is critical. The earlier that breast cancer is caught, the less deadly that it can be. If you wait too long and somebody's at a stage 4 breast cancer diagnosis instead of stage 1, that means that it's spread and metastasized into other organs and tissues in the body. In my hometown, the hospital where I work offer free mammograms and diagnostic screenings to women 3 times a year. the way that they do it, it's once every 4 months. And the goal is to serve areas of the population who otherwise might go unnoticed and who wouldn't be seen by a doctor. So people who'd maybe not have health insurance, people who might have health insurance but they've met their cap. So they do that for them, make sure that they're getting mammograms and getting diagnostic services to prevent later stages of breast cancer. And then here are my references provided to you.